بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أبنائي وبناتي طلبة وطالبات الصف العاشر، أحييكم مرة أخرى في الفصل الدراسي الثاني على قناة عمان الثقافية. Dear students in grade 10, welcome again to semester 2, and today we are going to start with unit 1, which is about story. As you can see here, the title of this unit is story. So now we are going in this lesson, we will start by reading and understanding a variety of stories. We are going to read actually three stories. Also, we are going to read a short text about storytelling and discuss questions about it, okay? So we are going to know about the word storytelling, what is it, and something about it, okay? Number 3, we are going to categorize information from 3 stories. As you know, we are going to read 3 stories and we are going to categorize them in a table. Also, we are going to analyze features of storytelling. Okay, so let's start our lesson by looking at your class book. I think you have your books today. So I want you now to open your class book, page number 1. As you can see here, we have here in class book page 2, we have 2 activities. We have activity number 1 and activity number 2. So I'm not going to learn about activity 2 because it is cancelled, but we are going to start with activity 2. So let's read the activity. Now read and sort. Read the categories and words and the words below. Sort the words into categories 1 to 4. Think at one more word to add to each category. Okay, now we have 3 categories. Number 1 is type of stories, and number 2 is part of stories, and number 3 are characters, and number 4 are the settings. And here we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 words. We are going to put them under the correct column. So I want you now in 3 minutes to categorize the words under the correct heading. Okay, now before we start, let's read the words. Here the first word is animals. Is it type of story or a character or a setting? Forest, mystery, Sindbad, middle, comedy, people, fable, city, ocean, end, beginning, and monster. So we have 14 words. I want you to put them under the correct heading. I think you know the meaning of these words. Some words are clear and obvious for you. You learn them maybe in grade 8, 9, and this year also. So it is very easy for you. So now let's complete the text. So number 1, type of story. It's mystery and comedy and fable. These are 3 types, and maybe you say tragedy. It's type of story. Okay. So number 2, part of the story. It's easy. Beginning, middle, and end. Easy. Yes, beginning, middle, and end. Also, now number 3, characters. It's obvious here. Sindbad is a character, شخصية. معروف إنه هو شخصية في القصص. Okay. Also monster. Okay. Animals are part of some stories. Also people are part of the story. I mean a character from the stories. Here number 4, the setting. What do we mean by the setting? The setting means the place or the time of the story. For example, here forest and ocean, city and ocean. These are places, and sometimes we use the time. Sometimes we use the time. So now let's play this game and play it together. Okay. Now let's play the game. Now I want you to put the words under the correct heading. Now, as you know, type of the story. We have 3 types learned. We learned in the class book page 2. What are the 3 types? Yes, mystery, good, and comedy, yes, and fable, and tragedy. This is one type of story. Tragedia. الكوميديا. هذه أنواع من ايش القصص اللي نقرأها دائما. Okay. Part of the story. أجزاء القصة. It's easy, very easy. It starts with the beginning. البداية. Then the middle. وسط القصة. And it starts in the end. It has a beginning, middle and end. كل قصة فيها بداية ووسط القصة والنهاية. سهلة جدا. Characters الشخصيات. Okay. For example here the animals. Okay. Monster and people and Sindbad. It's easy, very easy. Now here the settings, the place or the time of when it's happened this story. For example here the forest. Okay. City المدينة. Ocean المحيط. And mountain for example الجبال. It's a type of story. There is no sound. Okay. Now let's go to our lesson again. So now I want you to look at your class book, page number 3. Here we have a question. Read and discuss. Read and discuss. Okay. We have here two questions. Question 1 and question 2. Read the text and discuss the questions. Now we have 1, 2, 3 questions. Let's read the 3 questions before we start reading about stories. Question 1. Which different ways of telling a story are mentioned in the text? This is question number 1. Question number 2. What 3 features do all stories have in common? Okay. And number 3. What is your favorite story genre? Why do you like it? So these are the 3 questions. And also we have question number 2. Look at the vocabulary in bold. You mean these words, stories, storytelling, genres, legend, morals, settings, characters, and plot. Okay, we have I think 8 words or 9 words. We want to look for them in a dictionary. So let's start first by completing text number 1. Now I will give you now 1 minute or 2 minutes to complete the text. Now we have, as you know, we have 3 questions. I want you first to read the text, and then we are going to answer the questions. Okay, let's read the text quickly. Stories have been an important part of human culture for thousands of years. Storytelling has been passed down through poems, songs, dances, and writing from all cultures and languages. In order to educate and entertain us, there are many different types of story genres. Genres are types of stories, including legend, adventure, and stories with moral. Now, morals. All stories have several things in common. Firstly, every story needs a setting. This is where the story takes place. So, a setting means where the story happened. Okay. Secondly, all stories have characters. يعني شخصيات. These are the people or animals in the story. يعني ممكن يكون أشخاص وممكن يكون في حيوانات في القصة. Okay. Finally, every story needs a plot. Okay. A plot means the events, الأحداث in a story في القصة. الأحداث في القصة. Starting with the beginning, reaching to climax, or most exciting parts, and ending with a resolution. يعني تنتهي بالنهاية. Okay, so now let's look at for question number 1. Which different ways of telling a story are mentioned in this text? To answer this question, you should read the beginning of the text. So, it has been passed down through poems, this one, songs, dances, and writing. So we have maybe 3 or 4 types of storytelling. Okay. Now, number 2, what 3 features المواصفات أو الصفات do all stories have in common؟ إيش هي الصفات الأساسية للقصة؟ Now, I think it's clear here. It has a setting. Firstly, it has a setting and characters. Okay. And also the plot. Okay. Now, let's go to number 2. We want to look for the meaning of these words: stories, storytelling, genres, legend, morals, settings, and characters, and plot. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words. Now, we have the meaning for these words. A story is a description of a real or imagined events. Okay, it's a description of a real or imagined events. So it's a type of telling an events. So storytelling is the activity of writing or telling stories. Genre is a style, يعني نوع, a style or a type of a story. Legend is an old story or a set of stories from ancient times, يعني من عصور قديمة, يعني مثل أسطورة, that tells about a famous person or event. Moral is a message in a story about good or bad behavior. يعني الهدف أو الغاية من القصة. طيب أو الرسالة من القصة. So setting is the time or and place. يعني ممكن يكون الوقت time or place. ممكن يكون المكان وممكن يكون الوقت. Okay, in which story happened. Okay, character is a person in a story, film or play. الشخصية هو الشخص اللي موجود في القصة أو أشخاص. آخر شيء the last one is plot, the events on the story. يعني الأحداث اللي موجودة في القصة. It's the events in a story. So now we are have understood the meaning of these words. So now let's play a game. Now I want you to go to this part. I want you to have scan this code because we want to play the game. Okay. Now we have words and meaning. So we have here the words at the top of the page, and we have here the meaning in the middle and down the page. Okay, we have here legend. Okay, what is it? It's an old story or a set of stories from ancient times. Okay, setting. Setting. Where is the meaning of setting? Here, the events in story, as we said here, it's the block. Okay, a story. Here, a person in a story is a character. Okay, the activity of writing or telling a story is story telling. A style or a type of a story is genre. The time and place in which story happens are setting, and a description of real or imagined events is a story. A message in a story about good or bad behavior is the moral. Okay, let's check our answers here. There is no sound. Okay. Now let's go to our book, our lesson. Now, I want you now to look at your class book page number 4, and we have here 2 questions. Question 1. Okay. Question 1 is cancelled, so no, we are not going to answer it. Now we have here 2 questions. Question 1 and question 2. Now here we have a story about how the bear lost its tail. Now we want to read this story and we want to answer these three questions. And we are going to read about space waste on page number 5, and we are going to answer these questions. So before we read this story, I want you to watch the story in this video.
How Bear Lost His Tail.
Long ago, Bear had a tail. It was a very nice tail. He was proud of it. Bear met Bird. He said, "Look at my tail."
طيب. Okay. Again.
How Bear Lost His Tail.
I want you to focus on the story.
Long ago, Bear had a tail. It was a very nice tail. He was proud of it. Bear met Bird. He said, "Look at my tail. It's pretty." Bear met Fox. He said, "Look at my tail. It's long and brown." Bear talked a lot about his tail. Fox and Bird did not like that. One winter day, Fox had an idea. He went to the lake. He cut a hole in the ice. He caught a lot of fish. Fox put the fish next to the hole. Then he waited. Bear came. Bear saw all the fish. He said, "Fox, where did you get those fish?" Fox said, "I caught them." Fox turned. He put his tail into the hole in the ice. Fox said, "Fish like tails. When they bite mine, I pull them up." Bear looked at the hole. Then he looked at his tail. Bear asked, "Can I try?" "Okay," said Fox. "But not here. Let's make another hole for you." Fox went to another part of the lake. The water was not deep there. Fox said, "Here, make a hole here." Bear made a hole in the ice. Then he put his tail in the hole. Fox said, "Good. Now wait. Don't move. Don't think. Fish can hear you think." "Okay," said Bear. He tried not to think. Fox said, "I will watch the hole. When a fish bites your tail, I will tell you. I will say, 'Now, Bear,' then pull your tail out." Bear did not answer. He was trying not to think. Fox said, "I will wait behind those trees. Then the fish can't see me." Fox went behind the trees. Bear did not move. Fox laughed and laughed. Then he ate his fish and went home. That night, it snowed a lot. In the morning, Fox woke up. He thought, "Where is Bear? Did he go home?" Fox went to the lake. Fox saw a big white hill. It was Bear. Bear was still sitting by the hole. He was covered with snow. Fox went to Bear. He listened. Fox knew Bear was sleeping under the snow. Fox yelled, "Now, Bear!" Bear jumped up. Snap! Ouch! Bear turned to the hole. He thought he had a fish. Bear saw his tail. It was frozen in the ice. Bear was very mad. He yelled,
Fox, you did this to me!
Fox was rolling on the ice. He was laughing and laughing. Bear tried to hit Fox, but Fox just ran away. Today, bears do not have tails. They do not like foxes. They also make sad noises in the woods. Maybe bears today remember their tails, and that makes them sad.
Okay, so that's the end of this story. So let's return back to our book, class book, page 4. Now, after watching this video about the story of how the bear lost its tail, now I think you know the characters for this story. There are three main characters there. What are they? Yes, the bear, the fox, and the bird. We have three characters, main characters, and also are the fish. But we are focusing on three main characters. So what's the type of this story? What's the type? Is it a comedy? Is it a tragedy? Is it a mystery? Yes, it's a mystery story. So now let's read the story, part of the story, and then we are going to answer the questions. So here in your class book, many years ago, Bear had a long black tail, okay? He was very proud of his shiny tail, and he used to wave it around so that the others animals could admire it, okay? One day, في أحد الأيام, Fox saw Bear waving his tail around, and he decided to play a trick. يعني قرر إنه يلعب معه لعبة أو خدعة. طيب, it was winter. Now winter اللي هو الشتاء. So it's a sitting. واحدة من هذه المواقف أماكن في القصة is sitting is winter. Okay. So the wind was blowing hard. Snow was falling, and ice covered the lake. Fox walked into a frozen lake and made a hole in the ice. Okay. Soon, Bear walked past, and he saw Fox sitting on the ice. While Bear was watching, Fox pulled his tail and the hole pulled out a huge fish. "Greetings," said Bear, looking at the fat fish next to the fox. "What are you doing?" لأن تكلم البير. I am fishing, answered Fox. "This is the best way to fish, okay? Would you like to try? "Oh, yes," said Bear. Okay. Fox deliberately took Bear to a place which did not have any fish. Okay. He cut a new hole in the ice and said, "Now turn your back to the hole and place your tail inside it." Soon a fish will come and you can pull him out. But how will I know if a fish has grabbed my tail? If my back is turned, asked Bear. I will hide and watch, said Fox. When I see a fish pulled your tail, I shout, and you must quickly pull your tail out of the water, but do not move until I tell you. Okay? Bear said, I will do exactly as you said. Okay? He sat down next to the hole and placed his long, beautiful black tail in the icy water. While Bear was patiently waiting, Fox crept quietly back to his own house and curled up to the warm bed. Okay, يعني راح البيت ونام. The next morning, Fox went back to the lake. When he arrived, Bear was still waiting to the fox to tell him to pull his tail out of the lake. Fox crept very quickly, very close to Bear's ear. يعني, okay. Look, deep took deep breath and shouted, "Now, Bear! Now, Bear!" Quickly, Bear jumped up and pulled his long tail out of the hole. In the night, the hole had frozen around its tail, and his tail broke off. Bear turned around to look to the fish he had caught, and instead he saw his long, lovely tail. So he cut his tail in the ice. So now let's answer the question: how did Fox catch a fish? Fox catch a fish with his tail, because he has a long tail. Number two, what happened to Bear's tail? Bear lost its tail because the lake froze around it, and when he tried to pull it out, it fell off. Number three, why do you think Fox wanted to trick Bear? Why? Maybe because Fox may have been jealous to Bear's tail. He wants to have a long tail as the bear. So now let's read the second question. I want you now to read it silently with yourself, and I will give you 3 minutes to complete reading this story. It's about space waste. Okay? So as you can see, this story is not true because it happened in 2015. So it's a science fiction. يعني نوع من الخيال العلمي. It's not a true story. Okay? 3 minutes. Okay? Now let's read it together. It was 2015. The earth was filling up with rubbish. Okay? Here we have 3 people talking and shouting. More land for food. Stop the junk. Okay? Say no to waste. They are shouting in the story. Now, number 2. Powerful presidents and officials from around the world met together. يعني الرؤساء تقابلوا مع بعض. What do they say? People are complaining. We need to find new solution to the world's waste problem. We have a problem, which is waste. Now, number 3. Meanwhile, scientists had brilliant ideas. We can create a new moon just for storing rubbish. Okay? The scientist sold his idea to governments around the world. He became the richest man in the world. Now you will be rich. You can buy anything you want, just like anyone else. Now, here, Governments and countries join together to build the new moon made of rubbish, okay? Soon our waste problem will be over. People continued to buy new goods and throw away their old things. The waste moon grew bigger and bigger. It comes bigger and bigger, the moon, okay? Soon the waste moon became so big that it started to pull the earth around or towards it. Run for your lives. Run for your lives. We are going to crash into the moon. We are going to crash into the moon. And the last thing, what happened? Boom. It's damage. It's damage with the earth. The moon make an accident with the earth. Now we have four questions. Why did the leaders and officials meet? Why? Because there was too much rubbish in earth and they need a solution. Okay. Number 5. What did the science suggest? The science, العلماء. The science suggested building a new moon made of rubbish to store all the rubbish. They want to store all the rubbish. Number 5. Number 6. Number 6, what happened to Earth? People kept creating more and more rubbish and the moon became bigger and bigger and it damaged with the, crushed with the Earth. So number 7, what do you think would have been better solution to the waste? A better solution have been people create less waste to solve this problem. Now, number 3 on page 5 is cancel. As you can see, this is cancel activity. Okay. Now, number 4 is a discussion. I want to discuss these questions. The moral of each story. The character you liked the most and why. And the story you enjoyed the most and why. This is discussed together in your class. Now I want you to go to your skills book, page number 2, and we have now 2 questions, question number 1 and question number 2. Question number 1, as you can see, is cancelled because we don't want to learn about it in this semester. So let's go to number 2. Number 2, read the background information about a story trap and answer the questions on page 3. Now we are going to read this question on page 2, this story, okay, and we are going to answer questions on page 3. Now let's read together. Now read the story, but before we read the story, let's go to the background information here. On October 28th, 1995, tragedy hit the city of Baku in Azerbaijan during rush hour. A fire broke out on an underground train and killed more than 300 people. So this is a real story, not something not real. No, it's a real story. Now I want you to read it quickly, and we are going to answer the questions. Okay? So if we have time, we are going to read it quickly. Suddenly all the lights went out. Then the train stopped in the dark tunnel. Okay? We waited. We thought the lights would come on again, but nothing happened. Then it began to smell something on the train. I could smell smoke. The people around me started to scream, shouting, scream. The train is on fire. The train is on fire. Then I saw flames appearing. If something doesn't happen soon, I said to myself, I would be burned alive. Okay? As I stood in the blackness of the crowded, burning train, I could see no way to escape. Then Something happened. I heard a noise like glass breaking in the dim light. I slowly began to push my way towards the noise until I felt the sharp edge of a broken window. I pushed my body through the window and tumbled into the ground outside. I shouted at the other passenger in the train following me. Shouted, "Come with me, come with me." Then, mad with fire, we ran away from the burning train. For 2 hours, we walked down an ugly train tunnel. At least we saw the bright lights in the distance. So this is a real story about a person called Fagus. Okay. So now we have 4 questions. Let's answer them quickly. Why did the passengers continue to wait when the lights went out? Because they accepted the lights to come back. Because they accepted it. Now, number 2, how did the passengers know that the train was on fire? Because they could smell some smoke there on the train. Number 3, how did Fajr escape from the fire? He climbed through broken window. He climbed through broken window. Now, number 4, how did Fajr describe the escape from the train? It was scary. It was scary. كان خائف يعني. Okay, now, question number 3. Before we finish, read and complete. We have read the stories that we have today. How bear lost its tail, and space waste and trapped. Again, and I want you to complete the table with information about each story using the words in the box. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words, and here we have 9 boxes. I want you to put the words under the correct heading. Now, let's do it together. Okay? Now, how bear lost its tail. What's the genre for it? It's legend. يعني أسطورة. يعني مش حقيقية. The setting are winter. في الشتاء. حصلت في الشتاء. The characters are the animals. You know, the bear, the fox, and the bird. Okay? Space waste. What's the genre? It's the science fictions, من الخيال العلمي. Okay? And it's sitting in the future. Something happened in the future. As you know, it's 2050. And the characters are the presidents and officials. The last story, Trapped. The genre are factual. Okay? يعني حقيقية. القصة حقيقية. Sitting are in the tunnel. في النفق. And the characters are Fagif. Okay, this is the answers for the questions. If you want to screenshot the screen, you can do it now quickly before we finish. Okay, I give you 10 minutes. 10, 9, 8, 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, finish. It's easy, very easy. Now let's look for the last question here. Now, here, read the sentence again below. For each item, circle the correct words to complete the sentence. Now I give you 1 minute to complete this text. This is the last activity. هذا آخر تمرين عن اليوم. Okay. Now I want you to read the sentence and choose the correct word. It's very easy. Okay, let's read it together. A story setting can include the place, time and people or weather. When we talk about people, we talk about the characters, so it's not correct. The correct word is weather. the people included in the characters الشخصيات, not in the story setting. Number two, if you are a character in a story, إذا كنت شخصية داخل قصة, you should write in the first person I or we, or the third person she and they. So it's clear. You talk about yourself. You said I do something, or we done something. Okay. Number three is the opposite question. If you are writing about other characters in a story, you usually write in the first or the third person. Okay, if you are writing the story, you write with the first or the third person. It's easy. It's you should. Okay, a third person, you should write with the third person. Okay, if the characters in the story speak, you are going to use direct or reported speech. Direct or reported speech. If the characters in the story are speaking, you should use direct speech. For example, I do something. You should do something. So it's easy questions. Okay, now this is for your homework. Imagine that you were also trapped in the train. Okay, إذا كنت محصور داخل قطار. Okay, فكر إنك كنت محصور داخل قطار and followed فجف to escape the fire. Okay, you want to follow فجف to escape the fire. Write about your escape. Include details about what happened and what you saw and how you felt. This is for homework for you to do for this week. So this is time to say goodbye and see you next week, inshallah. Next week, inshallah, you are going to learn about next week you are going to learn about grammar and vocabulary with Mr. Hilal. So I want you to look for the main items in the next lesson, which it was about I think, which will be about passive, past passive, past continuous, and past simple. Okay. So until that time, it's time to say goodbye and see you next week. And goodbye.